All right, today is April 10th, 2019. My name is Claire Schmieder. I'm an adult services librarian at the Cherry Hill Public Library. We're here doing an Veterans Oral History interview with Wayne N. Smith. So if you wouldn't mind saying your name again and then spelling it for us, that would be great.
My name is Wayne N. Smith, and N is for Nesbitt, N-E-S-B-I-T-T.
All right, and it is around 2 p.m. today. All right, so it says here that you were born in Philadelphia, correct?
Grace Ferry section of Philadelphia.
What part of Philly is that? I don't know.
South Philly.
Uh-huh, yeah, nice. And did you live there like for a long time and then move into Jersey, or was moving to Jersey like later as an adult?
No, we were Po people. Because you could be poor, that's one thing, but
Yeah.
Po is even worse.
Right, okay.
So we were stuck down there because that's where we could afford to live.
Okay. And did you have any brothers or sisters?
I
Or
had 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
oh, so big family. Big family. Were you all close in age?
Well, my brother is in the nursing home now. He's 89 years old.
Okay. Wow.
He's the oldest. I'm the youngest.
Okay, so you're the baby.
I'm 68.
Okay. All right. Well, so there's a pretty big span there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big span. Okay. So you served in the Vietnam War, correct?
I was home minding my own business. I was watching TV. They were having a draw.
Mm-hmm.
It was the lottery for
Yeah.
if you would win a trip, all expenses paid trip to Vietnam.
And you were a lucky winner, I guess.
Yeah, I was number 100. I think it was either 113 or 117. It was in that range. So I knew I was going.
Right.
And within 3 months, I brought my invite to. I didn't know what to expect, so I brought some props.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? When we're done, we can look at them now if you want, and you can hold them
hang
up,
on to them
or I
and
can
take
scan them,
pictures.
and I can scan them, and we can save them for your for the file. And also, as part of the Veterans, I'm creating an ebook of all the veterans, and which will include more information that was on the application, so we can actually include some of those things on your page if you'd like.
That'd be nice.
All right, great. So how did you feel when you found out you'd been drafted? Were you scared, or were you excited, or were you angry?
I was scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But the Army turned out to be a great place for me.
Okay, good.
I was a kid, maybe the kids were younger back then, but I was going nowhere, so
Yeah.
to be drafted and show some structure, and they showed you structure,
Mm-hmm.
they knew how to handle you.
Gave you some direction.
So I was off on a plane within a couple of weeks.
Oh wow.
I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
First plane ride, prop. I got sick as a dog. I did my basic training in Fort Bragg. Then I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Fort Sill was where you learn to be a cannoneer. How they knew I was going to be good at being a cannoneer is beyond me.
What is training for being a cannoneer like? What do you do for that training?
A lot of physical, getting yourself in shape, using the gun, they'll call the coordinates, and you had to put the gun in that
You had to fire
direction.
at that, fire there.
Not really much to it.
And so, a cannoneer is somebody who fires large weapons. Is that what that is?
I was one of the smallest cannon.
Mm-hmm.
It was 105 howitzer.
Okay.
And it had a range of 13 miles.
Oh, that's the smallest one. It's 13 miles. Wow.
And we would shoot fire missions for the grunts, the infantry.
Okay. Wow. And then, how long were you in Oklahoma? Do you remember?
I think it was 2 months.
2 months. So it took a little while to train you for that, I guess.
Oklahoma was it's a beautiful state.
Yeah. I've never been. Never been, but
It is, the sky looks like you could reach up and touch it.
yeah. I've heard that actually from other people that it feels very open. Very.
And you meet so many nice people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
North Carolina was a beautiful state. I never knew they had so much sand.
I know they really do. It's very sandy soil there. Yeah. Yeah, I have friends who've been in the military who were stationed at Fort Bragg. So like I've never been there, but I'm somewhat familiar with the area.
Very
yeah.
prestigious when you say Fort Bragg. Everybody knows Fort Bragg.
Yes, yes, absolutely, they do. It's I think it's one of the largest bases in the U.S. actually, today anyway. And so you were in Oklahoma for about 2 months training, and so how old were you at this time?
I was
Actually?
19.
So you were pretty young, yeah. And then off you went to Vietnam, correct? After that 2 months, or did you get some time off?
Well, it says, when I was home, I was 19, I wasn't bothering anybody, like I said. It turned out to be a Forrest Gump. Could have been Wayne Smith. Because I never left the neighborhood.
Okay. Okay.
Not for concerts, we went down to the shore one time
Mm-hmm.
because my brother came through with some money and was able to, we went down to Atlantic City.
Okay.
That was the farthest I've been, and then now I got an invite
wow.
to come down to North Carolina.
Yeah. So that's a lot of change all of a sudden when you're that young. I guess though, if you're that young, it's also very exciting in some ways to see somewhere new and meet different people. Even though, did you miss your family?
I was a mama's boy.
Okay, you missed your mom. Yeah. Yeah. Did you all write a lot of letters?
I wrote every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Oh wow.
Because I had to let everybody think I was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all right, but mentally I was
Yeah.
a little bit off track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I had to convince my mother, especially,
Mm-hmm.
that I was all right.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay. Do you think a lot of drafted soldiers did that? Like, had to write letters home to make their parents feel less worried about them?
About that, and to make sure they knew they were okay.
Yeah.
To convince themselves.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we're drafted. We're going to North Carolina. We knew we were going somewhere else after that to learn your job.
Mm-hmm.
But
It just felt so. I understand. It probably felt very overwhelming, and the unknown.
it was.
Yeah, and also all the news coverage about Vietnam. I'm sure it was a little
Every
scary.
day we used to watch it on TV.
Yeah, because it was in full swing at this time. It's definitely in full swing. So, trained to be a Cannoneer. Were you a private first class?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went to Vietnam. And where did you, when you got to Vietnam, did you fly straight, I guess you flew into California and maybe then to Vietnam, or?
We took, I think it was Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
Guam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But
Few stops though.
yeah, I was in the middle seat of there was three of us. I was sitting in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and not one word was spoken
Mm-hmm.
on that. I think it was like a 16-hour
Yeah.
plane ride.
Mm-hmm.
So not one word was spoken.
Oh, wow.
But you could feel the tension in the air,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody knew what you're going to face when you got off that airplane.
Yeah. That must have been really scary. Do you remember when you got to Vietnam, like where you got off the plane, like where were you?
There was a city called Cam Ranh Bay where they took a lot of, when you landed,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you were, and then they would have you set up to go where you were going to be
Okay.
for the most part, maybe for the whole part of your trip to Vietnam.
Okay. And did you already know like which battalion you were in and which did you already had you already been assigned before you left, or did you get assigned once you got to
No,
Vietnam?
we were assigned before we left.
Okay. Okay.
I was in the 3rd, the 82nd Infantry.
Okay. And so, when you were traveling, and training, were there other people that were assigned to the same group as you, or did you kind of arrive and get sent to join up with your battalion and like not know anybody? And
Mostly stragglers. There'd be so many of you, few you'd meet, see the same guys that you were milling around before you got sent.
Okay. And so you got to Cameron Bay. Were you there for a while, or did it happen pretty quickly when you got transferred?
No, I wasn't there, thank God, because they had mattresses, they had beds laying out, and the mattresses had, I don't know how many guys ever laid on those mattresses, but they were full of body grease.
Oh, gross, yeah. Just dirty.
Sometimes I think that was the worst part of the war.
Probably smelled really bad too. Yeah. Oh, man.
And they had the biggest rats and spiders and roaches.
Yeah. It's tropical. Yeah. When they were like, was that one of the things that surprised you the most in the very beginning? Was just
When I walked out of the way of a rat that was coming down the street one day.
Yeah.
He was coming this way, I was going that way, and I veered over to the left.
You're like, I'll get out of
his way.
You're like, so I don't want to tangle with this guy. Were they like as big as a cat? Is that about how big they were? Like
maybe even bigger.
Oh wow. Gross. Wow.
I laid in a bunker one night. It was raining. It was monsoon season, and where I had made mine, it was ammo boxes. Then it would be a layer of sandbags and whatever else you could put on top of it. Mine started to leak, so I got up, and I went out and I found another place to sleep. And when I went in there, I lit the candle. I did what I had to do. I blew out the candle. I put my head down, and a rat ran right over my head.
That's so good.
So I got up and relit the match. And got the hell out of there. I wanted some more. I ended up going to bed in a crater where a bomb had exploded previous to that. That's where I slept.
Oh wow. Wow. Do you where did you go after you kind of arrived, and where was your battalion, your infantry? Where were they stationed when you arrived?
We were outside Da Nang, and we didn't have like one place. Those Huey helicopters would come and pick up our gun and 40 rounds and us. And they'd take us out, drop us at a Virgin LZ, and we'd fix it up, make a pit for the gun, and we'd stay out there until the Arvins came, the South Vietnamese Army, and then they would take over the hill.
Okay, that area. So you kind of protected areas until the South Vietnamese folks
and
could
then when
come
they
in.
came, the North Vietnam came and took them off them.
Right.
Because they weren't fighters.
Right.
They expected us to do their fighting for them. And for the most part, we did.
Right. They just weren't, I guess they weren't trained at all.
They were scared of dying.
Okay. Well, yeah. Are you still friends with anybody that you...
A guy came up, a guy from, of all places, Oklahoma. He was from Fort Sill, Oklahoma. He came up on his motorcycle, and a couple of friends. We've seen each other at one time, and we've never seen anybody again.
Wow.
There was a kid from Maryland. Every time I went over, I looked up in the book, because sometimes I was going down to Washington. I figured I'd stop if I could. His name was, my mind's going to go blank.
That's okay.
Michael Kinsley. I figured I'd go over there to see him. I never could match it up to anything in the phone book.
So it says you got some awards here.
Yeah, nothing. That's
Were they
most
basically
people.
like were they group awards or were they personal awards? You got a Bronze Service Star. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, one of the things I learned, because I did, the wall was my project, the Veterans Wall, and one of the things I learned about was all the different medals that people can be awarded, and because I don't, my parents did not serve in the military. I have an aunt who did, who was Navy. She was in the Navy. She was a nurse, but I didn't know that much about it, and there's so many of them, and so been spending a lot of time reading all about them, just out of curiosity.
For the amount of time I was going, I only served 19 months.
It's kind of a long time for Vietnam, though, I feel like.
I did my year in Vietnam, then they sent me back to do my rest of my time in the States.
Okay.
And they sent me to Denver, Colorado.
Did you like it there?
It was a little bit cold.
Yeah, it is. It is a little cold.
People seemed different from that part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's beautiful, though. I've been out there before, with the mountains in the
yeah, I
background.
guess if you were a skier and everything.
Or a hiker. You're really pretty.
But they asked me, they said, when's your ETS date? I told them when I was supposed to get out. They said, you're going to be going home.
Okay.
I said, look, don't mess them.
Yeah.
Am I going or am I staying? They said,
Right.
no, you're getting out.
So, how did that work exactly? You were there for 12 months and you had about 7 months left, and they were like, okay, we're gonna get you out of here. Why did they do that with everybody? Is that kind of how they?
Yeah, I think they had it set up like that. Or when you did your basic training and your training for what you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
plus the year,
Mm-hmm.
they had the window to let you go
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't need you.
Right. Right.
Your only purpose was to get over Vietnam and
Do what you're supposed to do over there, and then come home again. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever consider staying in the military and continuing
No.
a military career? It just wasn't for you.
not for a minute.
Yeah.
But it was one of the best things that happened to me. But and I mean that. The service is a good. If they had the draft today, and there's a lot of these troubled youths,
Mm-hmm.
so they call them.
Mm-hmm.
If they would go into the service and get talked to by some real men,
Mm-hmm. Get their stuff in order, I guess. Kind of.
this would be a safer place to be.
Yeah, it definitely teaches discipline and how to create structure and, planning and, being motivated, I assume. And
They know really how to motivate you.
yeah. They have a lot of practice.
They had us get off the bus. What are you getting off the bus over there in snow for?
Yeah.
We'd be falling over one another.
Yeah, a bunch of 19-year-old kids, basically.
It was like
Yeah.
Forrest Gump too. They went into the barracks, and one drill sergeant says, "Okay, square this away. I'm coming back." He leaves. A guy comes in and says, "What the hell is this squared away for? I told you to get to bed." And then he would leave. The other guy would come back. And that went on for a good part of the night.
Did they do that on purpose, do you think? Or?
That was like a Laurel Hardy skit.
Yeah. Do you think they were just messing with you guys a little bit, just to?
But they turned out to be, when we were going to leave basic training, he said, "Listen, I'm sorry I was so tough on you guys, but you're going to appreciate it when you get out there."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it would be really hard to be like a drill sergeant for trainees, because you really have to be. You might like them, but you can't act like you like them. You have to be hard on them all the time.
I remember his name. It was Sergeant Sharpstein.
Okay.
And he was a hell of a guy.
Yeah. Wow. Can you tell me, what's one of your most memorable experiences from your time in Vietnam?
One of them was we were in Da Nang,
Mm-hmm.
And when we went in tonight, we're walking down the street, I'm seeing over everybody's head. I'm the tallest guy in the street. And we met up, we went into this club, and this girl was in there, and we were talking to her. And next thing I know, the guy comes rolling in on a wheelchair. And he's got a hand grenade.
What?
And he's speaking in Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And she goes back and forth with him. And he was ready to throw the hand grenade.
What?
If she wouldn't have been in there.
Mm.
Because he got injured by some American.
Okay.
And he was wanting to get revenge.
Wow. And she talked him out of
She
doing
talked him
it.
out of it.
Wow.
I
That
was
was
in-
so scary.
I was in a car accident where like 4 people, I went back to get glasses, and I was hitchhiking from, it seems kind of weird to be hitchhiking through Vietnam, but that's the way they had it set up. So I got in a Jeep with, it was a sergeant and the driver, and there was a guy sitting there, and I got in, and when we were on our way back, I fell asleep. And the one thing that woke me up, there was a bump. I opened my eyes and I seen the sky, and I looked down. We were heading down into a rice paddy, and we crashed into a rice paddy upside down. And it was quiet for a minute, but then somebody started screaming. The guy who drove the Jeep was trapped under the Jeep, and he slowly got pushed under, so he didn't scream anymore.
Oh, wow.
So a bunch of people from the town came over. My leg was trapped under there,
Mm-hmm.
but rice paddies are full of water and it's really soft.
Mm-hmm.
But my leg was being pressed under, so they dug me out and pulled me out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow, that's so scary. It's such a scary thing to have to remember.
it's just shooting off all these rounds. I was in the trailers. I was the one that was shoved around into the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And we must have shot, I must have been, it got me in perfect shape. They were 40-pound rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And when they would deliver the rounds, they would deliver them to the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have to put one on each shoulder. Then they would put one with the heavy end on here, heavy end there, heavy one in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up carrying 5 down. And
Wow.
I was only 150 pounds, and that was 200 pounds I was carrying down the hill over messed up terrain.
Just carrying giant like missile things and
Yeah.
like down a hill where you could fall at any time. Yeah.
And all those rounds got shot off, and I've always wondered
Yeah.
about where they landed and how much damage they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that song was out, that just came to me, the song. You dropped a bomb on me.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that must be I can't even imagine if you have to do like long range weaponry, like you just get given coordinates, right? You don't really know
Yeah, it's
where.
in around this position where they want you to shoot.
Right, but you don't know what's there necessarily because you can't see 13 miles away, you know.
And all the people that got hit by those rounds weren't bad people.
Right, right. Yeah, they were just people trying to live their life. Yeah. Yeah, that's really sad. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I mean, I know it sounds like you appreciate that the Army really kind of turned your life in a better direction, but it sounds like it was also really, really hard. And yeah.
The mistake that was made was we fought a war that we didn't try to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vietnam is this big on the map.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some good fighters because they put a lot of, they set up a lot of traps for you when you walk through.
Mm-hmm.
They would blow up or
Mm-hmm.
a knife would fly out. Or, So they were good. They were dedicated, because their counterparts in the South made no effort.
Yeah.
Well, they made a lot of effort.
Have you watched the Ken Burns documentary that came out recently
Yeah, I
about
did.
Vietnam? Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch it? Did you watch it yet?
Yeah, I watched the best part of it.
Yeah. Do you feel like it accurately represented?
I don't think they gave enough credit to people. They were the best fighting force. They were America's best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
They try to portray them as a bunch of alcoholics, drug takers.
Mm-hmm.
And I did partake in
some entertainment.
you know, I mean, I did smoke some. That was the first time I ever smoked marijuana with whatever. What?
I think that was partially due to just the period. Like it was the the late '60s, early '70s. There was a lot of
The music made me do it.
Yeah.
That music, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Yeah.
Queen's Clearwater Revival.
Mm-hmm. Did you listen to a lot of music while you were
Otis Redding.
Otis Redding is really good. Yeah.
I listened to a ton of music.
Yeah. And was that like in Vietnam you had access to, did the Army have like radio station? Yeah. I mean, I've seen Good Morning Vietnam. I just didn't know how.
I've never seen that movie.
It's pretty good. I just didn't know. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's pretty good. But it's I guess Robin Williams is a DJ off of an Army radio station, and it's a lot about music and using music to kind of, I guess, mark different moments,
That's why people can't forget Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam was an old war. When I go in with my card now, I'll get 10% off at Home Depot or.
Mm-hmm.
When I go in there, they look at me like, wait a minute, you're still carrying on with Vietnam, getting a break? Come on. It's like they're saying, come on, forget about it.
Yeah. It wasn't a very popular war. And I don't think it was popular necessarily with the people who ended up fighting in it either. But it was.
I think about it every day.
Do you?
Every day.
Yeah. Have you always thought about it every day, or for a long time did you try to block it out?
When I first went home, I tried to say to myself, I did that. Now it's time to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But it always comes back.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it today,
Mm-hmm.
50 years later.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
Korea, and nobody talk. The Korean veterans are getting mad because the Vietnam veterans are getting all the publicity.
Yeah, and before that it was World War II veterans.
Yeah.
Korean War is the forgotten war. Nobody really remembers it, but I've definitely, from doing this Veterans Law, I've spent a lot of time watching different documentaries about different conflicts just because I wanted to get a better understanding of what people went through and experienced, and the Korean War was hard. It was pretty
cold.
It was pretty brutal. Yeah. Definitely was.
Believe it or not, Forrest Gump is a good picture of what had happened over there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting because you wouldn't think necessarily it would be, but that's really good to know. There's a lot of music in that movie too.
Oh, that's a lot of good music.
Yeah, I used to have that soundtrack. I remember having that soundtrack when I was a teenager and listening to it a lot.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young was. I mean, I wasn't the hippie type. I was more conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, I'm more conservative
Mm-hmm.
than I am liberal.
Mm-hmm.
But I always get a lump in my throat when they do the scene about Bubba.
Yeah.
When Bubba gets hit and he brings him back.
Yeah.
To the other guys.
Yeah.
He says, Bubba wanted to be a shrimp boat cap,
Yeah.
but he died for that. I'm ready to break down. But he died for that river in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And a lot of Bubba type and Wayne Smith type did die over there by that. There was 58,000. You ever go down to that wall?
In DC? Yeah, I have been there before. It's a lot of people on that wall. It's a lot of people.
A lot of people were mad when they put that wall up because I think it was an Asian girl, Vietnamese girl who did the drawing of that picked out the black granite.
Mm-hmm.
So but it was, I gotta say, I had a lot of fun.
Did you? What was the most fun thing you remember?
I can't say.
How about the second most fun thing?
Second most fun thing. Well, I got to go to Australia.
Really?
I got my R&R in Australia. Went there for a week, -2 days for travel, and I was there in 5 days.
Yeah.
And I went down to Da Nang. They had a beach down there. And that sand was, you think Cape May's beaches are nice? They had sand that was this deep, white.
Yeah.
And they had this building put up there so you could sit under it
Mm-hmm.
and stay out of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down in that water and I stood up to here.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked down and I see my toes wiggling. And it was like bath water.
Oh wow, that sounds nice.
It was like bath water.
That sounds really nice. That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to go to Australia. It's just really far away from here. It's very, very.
It's a long plane ride. It's
Yeah.
about 16 hours.
Yeah. One of these days when my kids are out of the house, I'm gonna go. That way I don't have to.
Don't put off to tomorrow. You can do today.
Well, they're getting there. They're 12 and 16, so I'm almost done. I'm almost done with them. I just gotta. I don't want to have to take them with me. It's too expensive for all those plane tickets. It's too expensive. Let me see what we got here. Do you have, so maybe you want to show me some of the things that you brought from your souvenirs?
I think I messed up. Stuff I brought. I just figured I needed to bring.
You can or you don't have to. It's up to you.
Let me just put down.
Yeah.
Here's me in Vietnam.
Oh, that's you. So here, yay! I remember this picture on the wall. I have fancy photo editing equipment on my computer, and I was actually able to fix the coloring in your picture for when we redo it for the wall. So it's going to be really like the colors are going to be original.
Yeah, my wife said, what a lousy picture.
It's not lousy, it's just faded.
I said it wasn't Paris.
But it's also just faded. So, but I was able to actually adjust it so it looks probably like it did when it was first taken.
Let me see, one of these things said something really good about me. I forget which one it is. Oh, here's some money.
Oh, we've got currency. And how much was this worth exactly, do you think?
Practically nothing.
Practically nothing. So this is from 1993. Did you go back to Vietnam at some point, or did somebody just give you the money from when they went on a trip?
No, I think I brought that back with me.
No, it's from 1993. There's no way. That's the year on it. I'm wondering if someone gave it to you.
I don't remember that.
Whatever, it's still really cool looking. I love money, like different money from different countries. It's so pretty.
Here's I went to a school thing where they were honoring veterans, and all the kids that sang "God Bless America."
That's so nice. Oh. That's really, really nice.
There's one thing that says, gives me a, trying to think if there's anything else I forgot to mention.
I have more questions we can go over if you want
Okay.
to. So if, I mean, or you can show me the rest of your things or whatever you want to do.
I'll be raking through this as you
Okay.
fire them off.
I'll probably just wait so we don't have the sound in the background disrupting the
Okay,
conversation.
let me stop doing
All
that.
right. So, while you were in Vietnam, some of these questions are pretty interesting. I did not make this list. The person who worked on this project before me created it. So, is there something special that you did for good luck while you were in Vietnam? Did you have like a ritual or anything that you would do, or did you see anybody with any rituals, like good luck rituals or anything like that? No. What about the did the Army hire entertainment for you guys? I know with like the USO.
I seen Bob Hope. I got picked to go see Bob Hope,
Okay.
and Bob Hope was like standing in Marlton, and I'm here. That's how far I seen him away.
Oh wow.
Somebody said it was Bob Hope. I'm not sure if it was Bob.
That's so funny. So you
Funny you mention that. When I went to see Bob Hope, they had a radio hook up where you could talk. So they never letting you call back home.
Mhm.
This was Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
So I went over to check it out, see if I could get on. Well, I was lucky enough to get on that radio. And I contacted, it was Christmas Eve there, it was Christmas Day here.
Mhm.
And I was able to get my mother on the phone.
Oh, it's.
And they said, whenever you speak, when you're done, say over.
Mhm.
Then the other person, because whoever you're talking to.
Mhm.
I don't know who forgot to say over more, her or me. And she was, I don't know who was crying more.
Oh, that was such a special gift for both of you for the holidays. That's so nice. It's so nice.
It was so weird that it happened. I got picked to go see the Bob Hope show.
Yeah.
And to go on the ham radio.
And be able to contact your family. Yeah. That's lucky. I bet a lot of people didn't get to do that. That's really
Very few.
Yeah. Yeah. But you needed it, I bet. You probably felt, it probably made you, I mean, obviously it probably made you miss home more, but it probably also felt really good to be able to hear your mom's voice.
I tried to get the guy that went with me to
Mhm.
go bring it on. He said that he couldn't do it. He was too messed up.
Oh, man. That's really sad. Wow.
But still, even though I went to Vietnam, I was lucky enough to come back.
Yes.
I got Parkinson's from being, I'm 100% disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, it was mentioned actually on your intake forms from Agent Orange. You had some issues from Agent Orange. Is that what caused the Parkinson's, or said, I don't know who filled this out. Was it
Yeah.
you? Yeah. It's something about Agent Orange on here. Is that correct?
yeah, it took years for them to come around to admit that they were involved in the dirty deed. But they used it in Korea
Mm-hmm.
with the same effects.
Mm-hmm.
Not only before we had to.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were like, this is the landscape. We were in this part,
Mm-hmm.
and this was all dirt and dead trees, and up here was triple canopy jungle.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't sprayed on. This was sprayed. This was nothing. It was, you could see all the way across, plus you couldn't see out of the forest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so they used it as I guess it's a deforestation.
Defoliate,
Yeah, defoliator. And so it was I know that in Vietnam a lot of fighting took place in jungle where U.S. soldiers weren't necessarily prepared for the guerrilla warfare that the North Vietnamese were engaging in. So I guess that was the technique to kind of get rid of the jungle so they could see what was going on. Is that why they did it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of our friends of the library group, I believe he's the president of the group. he has he has lung cancer from Agent Orange from his time in Vietnam.
Most guys I know, they got some kind of a defect, heart.
Yeah.
A lot of heart, a lot of prostate cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting to me that the military does this a lot, where they will use something and be like, "Oh no, everything's fine,
Yeah.
and they won't acknowledge that it damaged their soldiers. And
Then
the
it
same
comes
thing
out.
happened in the first Gulf War with all the burning oil and the
Yeah.
fires. And I had in graduate school, had a student I was friends with, and he was in the first Gulf War, and he had all sorts of health issues, and the military wouldn't recognize that they were caused by being exposed to burning horrible chemicals in these fields where all these fires were happening. You know?
I've only been examined and found out I had Parkinson's 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1970, I was in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So that laid in my system for all those years.
Just waiting. Yeah.
And then I still wonder today, what will pop up next?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just had to have my toe removed.
Oh, from just.
Well, it's due to the toe overlapping. I have nobody in my family ever had this.
Yeah.
So I had to have my toe removed.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way to tell if it's related or not in a lot of ways. You know, it's a horrible chemical.
I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything out.
So, after your service, let's talk about what happened when you came back home. Let's talk about that part. Came back home. You did your last 7 months in Denver, right?
I went plane and went back to Philadelphia.
And you went back to Philly. And did you use the GI Bill at all to go to college, or?
Even before that, when I came home, I opened up the door. There was a car out there with my brother in it
Mm-hmm.
to pick me up. He picked me up. We went home, and we started doing everything we did before I went over there.
So
There's
just
no
picked up
change,
where you
it was
left
just-
off? Yeah. Yeah.
There was no parades or.
Yeah. Yeah. How happy was your mom when you got home?
Oh, it was. I'd like to have a video of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure she was just so relieved that you made it home at all, you know.
I was the kind of guy that didn't prepare himself for too much. I was pretty laid back. I was lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy with a capital L.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of them didn't think I was going to do much with my life.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my first big step
Mm-hmm.
of making something out of myself. Going over there and taking that on for the year,
Mm-hmm.
and everything turned out good.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, what was your question?
Did you use the GI Bill? Did you go to college after that, or?
I wanted to be a barber.
Okay.
So I went to Tri-City Barber School in Philadelphia.
Did the GI Bill cover that, or was it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So they covered vocational school as well. I didn't know that. That's neat. And did you become a barber?
I went there, and it was Skid Row was on,
Mm-hmm.
and our clients were. They used to call them bums.
Yep.
Maybe that's a little bit
Homeless
harsh.
people. Yeah, homeless people. Yeah.
But it's a harsh world.
Yeah, it is. So that's who you learned on, where they would.
They would sit in the chair and you'd trim away at their hair. And I was doing pretty good. And then they took and moved the school up to Broden-Nedrow
Where is that?
in North Philadelphia,
Okay.
where you had people who worked in the area,
Mm-hmm.
who lived in the area, and they weren't going to let some guy like me put a pair of scissors in his hand,
Sure.
give him a haircut.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So that didn't work out. So then I went to hairdressing school.
Yeah.
And hairdressing school just blew me away.
Yeah.
Doing women's hair. And
Did you like doing that? Is that what you ended up doing? You ended up doing hair?
I started out headed in that direction, but once they moved up to Broden-Nedrow
Yeah.
with the hair, the women's hair, I was out of my league.
It's a lot of work. to take care of women's hair and him cutting it. It's a lot harder than for men. It's just different. It's different.
So then I went around just looking for took different jobs, quit them, got a new job, quit them. And my father gave me a piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
One of the deepest things he ever said to me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Boy, get yourself a government job." And he was right. I got a government job. I lasted 36 years.
Mm-hmm. With the federal government or the state?
Federal government.
When would you do? What was your job?
I was put out in the field to find clothing manufacturers that make military clothing to spec.
Okay. Okay. Is that what you started doing immediately, or did you work your way up to that?
I was working in a warehouse down there, then you get promoted, or you go in a different direction down there, and it just happened.
Where is that exactly?
It was 20th in Oregon.
Okay.
Philadelphia.
There's like a warehouse. There was a warehouse there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it the Defense Department Curve. I don't know if you ever heard it.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Because then they moved us up to northeast Philadelphia.
Okay.
The Navy.
Like
the Navy
Frankfurt,
Command.
like if the Frankfurt area, is that, or is it further than that?
In and around that area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's far from from where you were living before in South Philly, isn't it? Just
It took us a half an hour to get
Yeah.
back and forth.
yeah. For a while before I worked here, I have a master's in history as well, and I did a lot of freelance research and writing about different neighborhoods in Philadelphia. So I learned a lot about Frankfurt. That was one of the neighborhoods I researched. It was pretty interesting. I don't know all the neighborhoods in Philly, but I do know when I first went up there, it's like, this is really far away from like everything.
A lot of people went and retired because they didn't want to travel. You would think they were going to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know. That's how it is in New Jersey too. People are like, I'm not driving to Central Jersey, it's far. I'm like, it's 25 minutes. It's
Yeah,
not
when
that
you say you
far."
live in Cherry Hill, people are like, they act like it's far away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live in Burlington County. People are like, I can't believe you drive all that way to work. I'm like, it's really not that far.
What does it take you, about 20, 25 minutes?
About 35 if there's no traffic at all, and about 45 if there is traffic. So it just depends on the day. But I listen to a lot of audiobooks in the car. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. So it's 36 years you worked for the government.
36 years.
And you got your pension, and they took care of you. Yeah, the government jobs are good if you can get in there. If you can get in there at all, then you can work your way up to other stuff.
I had the job of jobs.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of that job?
It's go showing off.
Getting a paycheck for it.
No pressure at all.
Yeah. I bet. Well, you're there from the hours you're there, and you get what you can get done.
Not that you didn't do anything.
You did your work. Yeah.
You kept everything up to par.
Yeah. But it just you didn't have to take your work home with you.
No.
Yeah. You guys when you
A
left.
lot of people
left.
did though.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people who work for the government, they try to start something called where you would do two jobs for the price of one.
Oh, geez. No, thank you. That sounds like not a good idea.
But the people were great. It was like, I called it the Bedford Falls of jobs.
Why is that?
There were so many nice people, and they seemed like they were movie people.
Right. It's like a pleasure to go there every day and spend time with them. Yeah. That's how I feel about working here.
I miss them today.
Do you keep in touch with anybody from work?
No, once everybody leaves work,
You're just done.
you were just there to help them get by.
Right. So did you get married like when you were pretty young, like after you got out of the service, or were you married before you went in, or?
No, I was in my late 30s.
Okay. All right. So it took a while. Did you have a girlfriend when you went overseas to Vietnam?
No one special.
No one special. So, okay. Yeah. Where did you meet your wife? At work?
In the neighborhood. We always went. We always stayed in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Hung out there.
Okay.
And all the girls you met were from the neighborhood.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, Philadelphia is a really cool city. I like it a lot.
Well, it's changed a lot now. In
Yeah.
the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
If you want to eat Italian food, you knew exactly where to go.
Yeah.
You wanted Polish food, you knew exactly. And to an extent, it's still that way. But it was, you knew where to go for whatever you felt like eating.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of cities are changing like that. Like, people from different countries aren't necessarily like living in one neighborhood or another anymore. Everybody's more like mixed together a little bit. But yeah, even like things like a Chinatown in New York City is way smaller today than it was probably in the 70s. You know, it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's kind of neat that you have like a strong cultural identity within a group of people, but it's also good for everybody to kind of be living together and have it more diverse. I don't know how I feel about it. So, do you live in Cherry Hill now?
Yeah.
And when did you move to Cherry Hill?
27 years ago.
Okay, so you've been here a while. Is that when you were working at your government job, I guess? Yeah. And then climbed the ladder. You moved out of your neighborhood. What was that like?
I got all the farts out of my head.
Yeah.
I was able to wise up.
Yeah. Plus, if you had that government job, it's probably after a while probably paid pretty well, and it was steady, and you could count on it. You know. Did you take the train into Philly every day, or
No,
did you
we drove.
in? Yeah.
We both work at the same place.
Oh, okay. All right. Very cool. Do you want to show me the rest of the stuff that you brought? I see you have your hat here, and you have a certificate. And
They call it a boonie hat. That's what you wear out in the field.
is that the same hat from this picture? Yeah. Or maybe not that. Yeah. Maybe not that one.
Maybe we just better keep talking unless you're done.
I don't really have any, unless you have something else you want to talk about. If you want to, you can keep talking to me. It's absolutely fine. This is your interview, so it's up to you.
I went over these things the other night in my head. As soon as I walk out here,
You'll
I'll
remember.
remember. I can't come up with anything.
Well, if you think of any other things you want me to know about, we can always set up another quicker, shorter session if you want to tell me those stories at another time. This is absolutely fine.
I think we covered a pretty good bit.
Okay, all right. Can I see you? Will you put your hat on? Can I see you in your hat?
My head is all feathers.
So did you wear it with the string in the
heads.
string in the back?
Yeah.
String in the back. There you go. Why in the back and not the front? Does the string get in your way in the front and catch on stuff? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although if the wind blew it away, the string wouldn't help you. It wouldn't hold it around your neck.
They gave us earplugs because the cannon is loud. But we didn't use it. We threw away. We ended up using filter cigarettes.
The filter, you rip the filters off and use those. Yeah. Did that work better?
Oh, I know what I'm going to tell you about. Monsoon season versus regular. During the regular season, it was like 112, 113.
Wow.
Humidity
And humid, I guess. Yeah.
It would turn. The monsoon season would sweep in 70 degrees raining, you're freezing your behind off. In the hot weather, when you didn't have the hot weather, you got a shower by taking all your clothes off. And it's called a dump water on you. Everybody be naked. And they'd have this water sort of dumped over you.
Yeah.
And they would throw soapy water on you.
They're like scrub and then we'll rinse you off.
But the difference between that monsoon, it was like Forrest Gump said. One day it began in the rain. It came in sideways. They did it a few different ways.
Yeah.
He said sometimes it seemed like it was coming straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it seemed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you guys were kind of soggy all the time. Were you living in like tents? Is that, or like?
Ammo boxes,
Mm-hmm.
sandbags filled,
Okay.
2 layers.
Okay. And I guess it would leak a lot. Like,
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were kind of wet all the time.
You were partially wet no matter what you did.
Yeah. Did you guys have to be really careful about your like skin, like your feet and everything? With
Those guys that went out in the field, the guy with the least, what's the word I'm looking for? What was it when you were seniority?
mm-hmm.
If they needed a guy to go out with the grunts, you would, even though you were in artillery,
Mm-hmm.
you would go out with the grunts because you worked the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I came this close on at least 3 or 4 occasions of going out with those grunts. And they got totally messed up.
Yeah.
They were out there in wet clothes. They got all these sores all over their body.
Yeah.
Their feet were a mess.
Yeah. They had like trench foot basically from World War I trench warfare. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in bad shape.
Yeah. Yeah. That was probably another thing that made it hard for you guys, were just the temperatures and the weather, and you just didn't. I mean, we don't have to live that way, so we're not used to having to deal with a monsoon. You know, and they are. You know, that's just their life in Vietnam. Like, they're used to they know how to deal with the rainy season. You know, and I don't know how. I'm sure it made fighting a lot harder.
A lot of them must have been affected by this Agent Orange too.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see a news station go there and see what happened.
Do a story
to
about
them.
it, or learn a little bit about how it affected the Vietnamese. Yeah, yeah. Especially you wonder about like the little kids and stuff, like how it affected them.
Because they lived in, we thought we were in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Where they were living, I seen houses made out of beer cans.
Really?
For a part of it. And the ammo boxes you couldn't carry all that stuff with you.
Yeah, yeah,
They made bombs out of it, they made houses out of it.
yeah. Wow. Man, I can't imagine that.
But it was a lifetime's experience. You never get that kind of a it was something.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it, I'll tell you that.
yeah. My father-in-law fought in Vietnam, and he doesn't really talk about it. And he's talking about it more now, but definitely not when my husband was younger, or even in his 20s or 30s. He really refused.
I find to go to the veterans of foreign war.
Mm-hmm.
You go up to that club,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk to some other guys who've been there.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're in amongst your own. When
It's a
you're
little
there.
easier to talk about it with those guys, I guess.
So that might help him out if he goes.
Yeah, I don't know if he. He seems to be fine. I just think it was because he was like 17 when he went over there. You know, almost 18, and his first child was born while he was in Vietnam. My sister-in-law. So I think, you know, I've been wanting to talk to him about doing an oral history with him. He lives in South Carolina, so unfortunately it's a little difficult for me to schedule something like that. But I just think for my husband and his sisters, they might like to have that story. I think it's gotten easier for him as he's gotten older. because he's further away from it. It's just, and I think like they were pretty poor when he came back and like had 3 kids, and he worked at a car dealership like fixing cars and didn't have a lot of money. So I think that was a big part of his life focus for a long time, was like making sure his family was okay and taken care of. But now he's retired, so he has time. I would like to talk to him about it.
Maybe it'd be good for him to talk about it too.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. And maybe he does go to the VFW. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I just started going with the last, because I'm down Cape May in the summertime.
Okay.
And I go in there and play shuffleboard and
Nice.
just hang out.
Just hang out, yeah. Have a beer or whatever, hang out. 'Cause I bet a lot of veterans who can use, like any veterans organization is good for that if they have like a place where everybody can get together and just kind of relax together. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink.
Yeah. But I bet you a bunch of them do. But you play shuffleboard though, so you got that.
I can't get anybody to challenge me even when I go down Cape May.
Shuffleboard's fun. I haven't played it that much fun.
They have a nice table down there.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. It always just reminds me of like old timey cruises where people are playing shuffleboard on a cruise. That's awesome.
I'm talking about the table.
Yeah, the table version.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
table version.
Yeah. When I was in college, there was a Barber who had a pretty nice shuffleboard table that you could play on, and sometimes people would play, but mostly not.
I was surprised that just anybody can join the VFW. You don't have to be a veteran.
Oh, you don't anymore? I thought that was the rule.
No, they said they could never pay for it. It would be an expenditure
Mm-hmm.
that the government wouldn't care to make. So they have.
Different kinds of memberships, I guess, like, or.
I don't like that idea. But
Yeah, it seems like it should be for people with similar. I don't know. It seems like if it's a veterans organization, it should be for veterans, but that's weird. That's a weird thing.
I don't want to tie you up.
You're fine. You're good. Did you have anything else in your bag you wanted to show me? We can stop recording if you want to, and you can show me. All right, so I'm gonna stop recording. It's a little bit past 3:00 on, and thank you so much for talking. And I'll make sure Kathy's email address is here. Is that your wife, your daughter, relative?
So I don't have any kids.
Okay, so we post these we have a YouTube channel for veterans oral histories, and we will be putting this here if you want to, and I can give you the information. So if you have a computer at home, you can look at it, or you can share it with other people. Do you have a computer at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't use it, but
I will send the link to this email address that's listed here.
I'm challenged when it comes to
You're fine.
modern day gadgets.
Oh, everybody always says that. I just think it takes practice. All right, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.